Microphone check, 1 2. Microphone check, 1 2. BNY live. Derrick Terry in the building. Here to name names too as well.
Nah,
that's what we do
no
here, right?
names. I'm not naming names. I stick. I stick with topics and issues.
Hey,
I let people dictate to themselves who the names are.
see, y'all didn't hear the pre-production. Derrick said, "Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna say, I want to just stick with the topics, whatnot." But obviously here at BNY, volume low. It was turned up a little bit. Obviously here at BNY, we like one thing, and we like names. So we'll see what we get though. But beginning with names, my man Derrick, what's going on with you? How you feeling, man?
As you can see, I'm tired. I'm here, advertising my favorite coffee, Wawa.
I got some too as well. Not Wawa, but
Yeah, but first I want to thank. I definitely appreciate you having me on your show. I'm a loyal viewer, listener.
Been on a few times.
It is rare that I actually get interviewed because I'm the one that's always doing the interviews.
Right.
But I do appreciate all that you do for the community. And I try to surround myself around like-minded people, so I definitely appreciate it.
Appreciate the warm words.
And you can see that Ricky got a haircut for me. I said, look, man, you can't be in the camera with me and you got your stuff fly.
hey, look, I went ahead and chopped it off, getting ready for the summer. I'm not one to do the hair every single day. I got the beard now. That takes up too much time. I can't be doing double in the camera. So
no, it's all good. But honestly, for the people that are viewing, I'm extremely tired, and the reason why.
What you been up to?
The past 2 days, my beloved fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Sigma Alpha Lambda chapter, led by our president, Dr. Marquez Ball. We just came back from a HBCU college tour with 35 students.
Okay.
From various high schools.
In Charles County?
In Charles County, PG, someone as far as Anne Arundel County.
Nice, all right.
And it was 2 days, so our first stop was Dell State. Our second one was University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
It's my alma mater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When last time you been there?
It's been a decade. It's been some change, man.
I hadn't been there since 1992. So imagine what it looked like when I got there, and I looked at it.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
It definitely changed.
Yeah.
And then we stayed the night at Norfolk. Then we went to Norfolk, and then we ventured up to Virginia Union. And I want to give a special shout out real quick to my boy Jay Butler, Coach Jay Butler, the men's Virginia Union coach. I think he was 2-time CIAA Coach of the Year, and also my good friend and coach buddy, I'll say rival, Coach Barvinia Wooten, who also won a national championship Division II in 1983, I believe. First one from a historically black college to win one, and she was playing when Charles Oakley was playing, for those old heads out there that know some basketball. So, and we got dropped off here at 6:30. So I didn't want to, although people couldn't smell me, I wanted to make sure that I was a little bit fresh. Went home, took a shower, now I'm here. So.
Yeah, I would have called you out. You can't be up here, and especially shout out to Quality Touch Studios. Shout out to Will and Tracy Bowers letting us use the space as we rebuild brick by brick. So, I can't have you up in my people's house, and you just leaving a trail behind you. You know what I mean? Like that cartoon skunk.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I may have been a little salty, so that was good that I did that.
Nah. I appreciate it. But thank you for. I know obviously we had to reschedule last week, so I appreciate your flexibility.
Yeah, I think it was because the commissioners forum, right?
That was part of it too, as well. You were there. You spoke.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, how'd it go?
It was interesting. Interesting. I'm trying to remember what I spoke about. I cannot remember what I spoke about.
Something about amenities, this, that.
Oh, yeah.
Docket 90.
Yeah. Basically, what it comes down to is that for those that have been here for a while, if you have been in other places, other cities where you pay high taxes, you expect a lot. And I'm not here to name names, so if y'all looking for me to name names,
no, he's gonna name names. Everybody has a volume 2 as well. But if you let me know,
when I hear
he's gonna name names,
commissioners, and I'll just say with an S, say that we are now open for business.
Commissioner Stewart.
I'm not. You said that. My thing is, why the hell were we closed to begin with?
Go on
And
explain that point. What do you think?
we were very anti-business, at least from 2013, 14. And you can say that some of the quote-unquote environmentalists had something to do with it, but it also had to do with people wanted this, what do you call it, a bedrock community or whatever it's called?
No, bedroom community.
Bedroom community.
Bedrock. You thinking Flintstones?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I'm tired.
Nah, that's all
some
good.
people wanted this to be a bedroom community, but how are you going to be a bedroom community when you have people who they're expecting things? So when I came here, I expected a lot, and I simply don't see it. I see that they're trying to make moves now.
Right.
But these are things that could have been addressed years ago. So we're playing catch up.
Yeah. Obviously, things we've mentioned too as well. Amenities. Just more facilities and area for youth too as well. Things of that sort. Is there anything particular outside of like a lot of the mentions, like certain type of business you're looking for here?
I know
you say you're a solution guy. So what?
Yeah. Well, I know one of the and I've preached this over and over and over again. I was at a commissioners meeting, I think it was last year before last, I can't remember what it was. And I've been a big advocate of renovating the Capitol Clubhouse because it's a 90,000 square foot facility that is owned by the county. And me and the taxpayers, was told that there was tons of research done and it just wasn't going to work. So I was like, fine, can you at least provide the feasibility study, comparative cost analysis? We were told that we could find it in board docs. So I said, well, I'm lazy. So I did a Freedom of Information Act request, or MIPA, whatever they call it. And to my surprise, I get a letter saying that no such documentation exists. No agenda, no minutes, no nothing. Which tells me that we wasted, in my opinion, $4 million hard-earned tax dollars on a senior center. And I got nothing against seniors, but do they need that much damn space?
Hey, look, you're going to get some people angry in the chat, man.
That's a lot of space and a lot of money when you could have easily provided that space in the Capitol Clubhouse. Now, some will argue, well, they got the ice skating rink. If anybody who's on here, have you met anybody in Charles County that's on an ice hockey team? Waldorf, have you met anybody that's on a hockey team?
You're saying it's not used by the county outside families?
I'm asking questions. I don't know. I'm asking questions. But my thing is, if the study was done, it would at least showed us how much it would cost to renovate it. I know it wouldn't have been no $4 million for a fact. There's no way in the world it would have been $4 million.
So you think the money was
wasted? And because there was no study done, to me, it doesn't seem like the previous administrations were great stewards with a D, of our
double entendre
of our funds. Because the question is, where's the study?
So there's no study. Money was approved,
government.
But there's no really oversight on how much money needed to go into this.
No, I'm saying, if there's any genius out there, do you think it would have cost $4 million to renovate the Capitol Clubhouse? 90,000 square feet, right? Like, I got nothing against ice hockey, but at the end of the day, it's the facility for us, or is it for other people? Who's it for? Waldorf, and I mentioned this during the last last commissioners meeting. We are about we're a little over 50. Well, we're about 80, whatever it is. I know we're over 50% of Charles County population. And 61%, approximately 61% of Waldorf is African American and people of color. Once again, how many of y'all ice skate, play hockey?
It's been here for a while, though, at this point.
And it could have been renovated a long time ago.
I know there's that other all-purpose court in the back, too, as well, that could use some new flooring.
That's horrible. That's a horrible court.
Yeah,
that's someone who used to coach junior college.
Yo, you ain't got. I've been there plenty of times.
We know what type of court you can put in there, and we know what can be done to the floor. But guess what? They lease it out. They let some other company manage it. Look at it when you look at how houses used to be built. Way back in the day, they used to have basketball courts, right? Now they got tennis courts, or you may not see no court at all. That's not by accident. So, to me, the mentality of Charles County to have a 90,000 square foot facility and not renovate it, so we, meaning the taxpayers, have a venue that we can use as well as the kids can use. And hey, if anybody else from outside the county wants to use it, they can. But look at all the AU tournaments you can run, soccer tournaments, all these different tournaments you can run.
You're going to tell me. I already know.
You need at least a 90,000 square foot facility.
I see it a lot.
Yeah.
Especially outside the state, too, as well, or up. Bethesda area, all that.
Yeah, so for me, it makes no sense. And I don't know where the mentality or the mindset is of people that have lived here all their life. But you and I, being transplants, we've been around.
Yeah.
You know, like Al Pacino said. You know, so we know what's up. And I'm just baffled of why we can be this archaic. But yet you want all this tax money.
With no study.
Yeah. That's one reason why I push for municipality.
We won't get into it. Let's do a quick roll call. Joseph, Meg, how you doing, man? Charity Angel, what's going on? Shauna said Mir had a blast too as well.
Oh yeah. He was he said he sent the pictures of what y'all wanted to see, and I said you send the pictures of what you saw. He saw a good time. Don't get me wrong. They had a good time, and I will say that those group of students well behaved. I mean, well behaved. That's a true testament to the parents, the schools, as all the bad stuff they say about our students. I'm telling you, they were on point. They made for a very relaxing, non-stressful event.
And that's good that you said that too as well, because I know a lot of times we get caught up in the negative of, and we're talking about the school system here tonight too as well, the negative of it, but it's good to see the positive and take it outside the county, out even further out. You said you was in Delaware too as well to show, exactly, represented. Shout out to the families too as well. That's a very college tours such as I'm all for it. Looking for my boys getting there one day.
Yeah, and it takes a lot for the parents to entrust in us
and baby girl.
Yeah, to take their children away from home.
Yeah,
and stay the night. They definitely got to eat on.
By your dime, you paid for it.
Well, the fraternity paid for it.
Okay, all right.
Fraternity paid for it, but to some degree, because we pay dues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of other events that we do to fund these programs, but it was good. I'm saying the pictures and all that be coming out later. I had to be here, so I couldn't really do it.
I appreciate it. I'm not complaining about that. Pascal, how you doing? Hola. Let's see.
See Mike.
Pascal, 35 questions were answered during that town. We'll talk a little more about that town hall too as well. Mank, I see your question. See a couple town hall questions. Sean, keep scrolling down. Leftwich, I see a Leftwich. Don't do that. My man, Mr. Leftwich, always in the comment section. I revoked that top fan badge too as well. Yeah, I send an email to Facebook. It's going to be unsealed and released here shortly. Let's see what else we got here. Keep scrolling down. Carlos, what's going on with you? Yep. All right, let's go up top real quick. All right, so you were in. Let's talk a little bit at town hall too, so the commissioner one. You were in the room. What did you? What was the vibe of it? As far as the board with the citizens, vice versa. What did you get out of it? I know you left around like 9:30, so you were there for the majority of the night. What did you think of the whole process? The back and forth, the answering the questions, kind of answering questions, not so much.
I think for the most part it was okay, but I think sometimes the responses can be very long-winded, which means that
politician answer.
Yeah, and like my question, I'm trying to remember what my question was again. Sean, do you remember my question? But my question wasn't answered to a degree. I will say that, and I just can't remember it. And my mind is like, I mean, I'm operating on fumes, y'all. I'm letting y'all know right now.
Nah,
we almost was gonna reschedule again.
That'd have been twice in a row.
I couldn't. Well, it's been my first time. You guys were the first one.
Oh, so he ain't throw me out. See, he ain't throw me out like that. Nah, that's good though. That was me. That was me the first time. So, nah.
But I think for the most part, it was fine. What I didn't like, and usually the way the format is that you don't say people by name. So I know there was one particular person that, they was calling out commissioners and I guess county employee by name. And that shouldn't have been done. But knowing what I understand that the chair is going through some personal things, so he just may not been in the right mindset.
Right.
Understandable.
Yep.
Most people that have attended these forums, they know better. They know not to call people by name, and to some degree, I felt like it was staged. Just my opinion.
Oh, really?
Specific questions, comments, and that was just me. That's what I felt. But
do you know how often they're going to run those town halls? As far as the board,
I want to say it was quarterly, but I don't know offhand. I usually just look on Facebook and see when the next meeting is.
Just go from there. I know this is.
And if I can go, I can go. If I can't, I can't.
I know there's a schedule out there, but do you think quarterly is enough? You want to see a little bit more than that? Maybe.
What I would like to see, if they have them on where you can't dictate the agenda, meaning that if you're having it, say, at a government building, you can dictate the agenda, meaning that you can get emotional, but you can't get to the point you can get kicked out. Why not have it at, say,
they said quarterly, okay.
A community.
They said talking to the mic, too, as well.
What?
Nah, you keep going, just talking to the mic, yeah.
Why can't you have it, say, like, at a community center in one of the communities? Or if it's a nice day, you could have it outside. But have it in to me, something that's not attached to the government.
Oh, it's like a little bit less. I think BJ had his the very next day. I want to say that it was just like him in the community center, just kind of like just talking.
Yeah, I'm talking about all, not just one person. Just I would prefer, if they're gonna do the town halls, that I believe that was his individual town hall.
I see. It's Sean has said. Stuart, hold a second. I just had 3 comments pop in at the same time. I ain't working off the same. I got the TV.
Yeah.
I got. What is this? Like a 12-inch screen?
He's doing everything, and I don't think I can see all the questions.
Nah, you got your phone too as well. Like I said, we in a different setup, so bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. Sean has said, Commissioner Stewart's about to have one next week, like Bolin had. All right.
But where's it supposed to be at? I'm just curious.
Sean, drop some details about that too as well. Pascal said let the county know they need more space for the next one too as well. All these auditoriums out here?
No, because that was the other thing.
Yeah.
Where they held it at, to some degree, you had to know that people were going to come there and speak. And it was in a very, to me, small room. It was usually in the room where I think they were doing it because of COVID. Now, I don't know. They may have had reasons why they couldn't do it in the other room. I don't know, but it'd be nice to know logistically why couldn't we done it in the regular room, so that way more people will have, because it was crowded. People, was out there. And
I was watching off the Zoom. Yeah.
But the other thing is that it should be confined to time constraints, meaning that if you let somebody come up there and just vent, it can be long. Like, I asked a simple question. I'm trying to remember my question. I cannot remember my question.
Yeah.
I just can't.
See, if I had my my old setup still, I would have already cut that thing up and released as far as a lot of the comments. But I couldn't tell you off top.
Yeah, and Shauna, believe Shauna was there. My brain literally is just tired, so I can't remember.
Let's jog some memory of it. Mank got a point here. This is one of our points we're going to talk about tonight too as well. The $500 plus dollars in taxes for the commissioner lawsuit.
Yeah, I was pissed. I'm still pissed.
Yep.
Because I know one of the things I talked about.
I see you make my charter too.
I know one of the things I talked about was, why can't we construct some outside basketball courts with lights and all that? I've been talking about this.
Why can't we just have lights in general?
Yeah, I've been talking about that for years.
Yeah.
For years. And I know it doesn't cost that much to have an outdoor court. We ain't looking for nothing fancy and all the other stuff, but just a place for kids to interact.
There's a couple.
And if you worried
about that new one at Ben'sville.
Yeah, well, that's Ben'sville.
Yeah. I mean, it's one. I mean, it's just one spot.
Yeah, that's Bentonville. But like, for instance, Anne Arundel County is this place out near the airport.
Oh, then you ain't gonna tell me.
You know what I'm talking about?
I used to. I grew up with a little boy in Severn, Maryland. So yeah.
It's been there for years.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
And I used to go there and ball.
Yeah, I was
3,
there.
4 o'clock. And the lights on all night.
Yeah.
Cops, and I don't recall anything
Popping off. Nah, it was solid. Just people balling, going home.
Yeah, go home.
Yeah.
You know, you want them to stay off the street. You don't want them going around trying to get into your cars and all that. But
I mean, same thing in Bowie growing up too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Courts on, lights on, late at night, 10.
Yeah.
Maybe later.
Yeah, but
Shout out to Allen Pond.
But that $500K to me, I'm thinking we're spending $500K and counting for a $55,000 job.
I mean, yeah, the numbers don't, the math ain't mathin', as they say.
And the other point is, we were told in that meeting that the lawsuit had nothing to do with, we'll call it Emailgate. It had nothing to do with these alleged emails, because I haven't seen them, so I don't know what's in it. It had to do with what happened during that closed session.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what I read in one of the articles, it came down to one of the commissioners having the power to vote a county employee out, you know, or fire them, or whatever it may be, whatever term they want to use.
Mr. Belton, yep.
Well, I ain't mention no names.
No, I know you not, but I gotta stand by my creed.
And that's a personnel matter.
Yeah.
Right? It's a personnel matter.
Yeah.
But politics 101.
Mm-hmm.
One administration or previous administration rules and procedures don't carry on to the next administration without a vote. So if the new administration votes to give or rescind something, they have that right.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. Now, I could be wrong, but to me, they have that right because it's a new administration. So you can't hold somebody to the previous administration. That's just my opinion on it. But either way, it was a personnel matter. How it all of a sudden came to us, I have no idea.
What'd you think of the findings of the report? That you did see the findings of the report? Just take it back a little. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but
I it's almost like I heard the restaurant's the bomb. So we get up in there, oh man, this look good. Everything look good. But you didn't get a chance to eat nothing. So it looked good, but you didn't physically get a chance to taste it. So I didn't see any emails. So I don't know whether or not this stuff happened or not.
So the findings, as far as
there's no meat.
So let me ask you.
But
this
I think they're sealed. I think that's why. But unseal them.
So I mean, I'm with it too as well. The part of the findings where it said that essentially, and this is actually, you know what? I don't have to sit there and paraphrase this at all. I could just read as is, and we go from there. Hold on, bear with me 1 second.
They're having a conversation on there.
Yeah, y'all keep talking. I'm gonna read some of these comments here shortly too as well. All right, so with regard, this is part of the findings with regard to their I'll get to there is in a second. April 2019 email exchange regarding applicants for the county attorney position. Mr. Belton said Commissioner Coates wanted anyone but a white man hired for the position. As for the basis of his assertion, Belton said he met with Coates for a one-on-one early in his tenure as part of a series of meetings he had with each commissioner individually. Commissioner Coates raised the issue of diversity hiring, but did so to the extent of naming people who should be fired or should want to hired. Belton said that both Blackwell and Deb Hall, Deputy County Administrator, have told him their observations that Coates only wants to hire African Americans. That was in the report. What's your thoughts on that?
They have that right.
So if
no, I'm saying,
now I'll let you talk before
I don't know whether or not that was. Think about it.
Okay.
Is that basically what's the word I'm looking for? Is that a fact? Meaning that is that really how it went down? I don't know. We'll assume yes, that's how it went down.
According to the report.
The pros and cons. And when I look at it, for the county in which we have, to me, it needs to be representative within the government. Just my opinion. But I don't think you should fire somebody just because they white and they're already in the position, unless their evaluation supports that, meaning their employee evaluation. But either way, it's still a personnel matter. It's not necessarily something that us, the taxpayer, controls. So that's something that, and to me, at the end of the day, this should have been handled in-house. We didn't need to be privy to all this stuff. Let them handle it in-house. And if the voting power of one commissioner is rescinded, it is what it is. If it isn't, then there has to be justification why, based on what happened during a previous administration. But as far as the comments, that's the one side. If I had to read them, like, yeah, I wouldn't say it's not appropriate, but it's not against the law.
I would say two things here. One, comment section. I'm curious your thoughts too as well on that particular findings in the report. Do you think it'd be different if it was bowling? And he said it about minority group of Americans, Asian, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, African American.
He would get the same backlash.
Oh, I think it'd be.
Yeah.
I think it'd be greater. I think it'd be much greater.
Right now, yeah, it would be much greater. Now, if you looked at the demographics 10, 15 years ago, and he said it, nah. Just a little slap. Because, we wasn't a minority majority.
Ago
we wasn't a minority majority.
That was 2007.
Yeah, when I came here, I was here in 2006. But, yeah, he would get it, and probably more severe. Doesn't make it right. But we can look at situations when we do something and we get more, like when you look at, just briefly, the LSU game in Iowa.
I'm hip. Yeah, I'm hip. Yeah.
I officiate basketball. I played basketball. I coach women. The one, Clark, great player. I mean, she got some range on her. But she talked trash. And, I could, because when I look at a game,
it's all part of the game.
I'm looking at the player. So my thing is, look, if you're going to dish it, be prepared to take it. The young lady from LSU, Reese, she's from the Baltimore area, and she played against guys. We talk junk all day, every day.
Yeah.
Probably with DC. But at the end of the game, let's go get something to eat. That's how you talk trash and you go play ball. I think in this case, to some degree, there needs to be some sportsmanship. But at the same time, players gonna be players. They wasn't like they was fighting. I don't even think I ever seen a fight for women's basketball. Now, I'm not saying they don't exist. I ain't never seen them. I've seen guys, but I haven't seen women. But that's a whole different issue.
Me personally, I say that I think she needs to resign immediately. I don't think that's a position that.
But on what basis?
You if you're isolating a group of people just based on how they look, that's not something that. Obviously, the history of this country, Martin Luther King, judge me on the content of my character, not the color of my skin. And obviously, when it's not us as black men or somebody else, I can't stand for that or get behind that. That's not something that I would teach my children. That's something I would want friends around me or leaders in my community too as well. So if based off the findings, which obviously were investigated over a period of years, I would say, yes, she has to go. 100%.
But this is probably, and this is what I like about podcasts and shows like this. We can agree to disagree. And the reason I say that, because we single out people every day for certain things.
Right.
If I'm going to pick someone who's a Democrat or Republican or independent. I'm going to pick somebody who's pro-environmental, anti-environmental, pro-business, anti-business. The only difference is that they probably didn't email it. If that's the case, but I know it goes on. Or I give you a prime example. Anybody who ran, and I requested this and was told I could not get it because it's a personnel matter. I wanted to know every person who applied for a board position after the last election and whether or not they were appointed or not. Typically, if you run for a commissioner or anything where your name is out there, you can't get on certain boards.
We saw that recently happen with it too.
No, that's been happening for years. You can't get on certain boards.
Yeah.
And the reason I know, because when I ran, I spoke to pretty much all of them and asked them, hey, did you apply for a board position? Yes. I'm guessing they didn't get on it. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get on a board, but there's certain boards where you get more visibility.
Mm-hmm.
And because you get more visibility, some people may not want you on there with the, I guess, with the assumption you're going to run. You know, I'm thinking, look, I'm not getting, whoever's being on these commissions, most of them don't get paid for it. So where's the glory in serving on a commission and you're not getting paid for it? You're doing it because you want to continue to serve the county.
Right.
And you should not be denied based on the fact that you're a Democrat, Republican, anti-business, pro-business, whatever. You're put there based on your qualifications. Because when I do a resume, it don't say any of that. It says what I do, what I've done, and what I want to do.
Right.
I don't mention, that's just me, but I could be wrong.
No, I mean, obviously, you want. I'm a champion for diversity. You want, a range of people, obviously qualified individuals to represent what the community looks like. Yeah. I'm 100% for that. Not for isolating anybody just because their nose is a certain size or, they're below 5'7" or anything ridiculous like that. Look, ethnic background, those type of things.
But this, I would say, as small and as large as this county is, and I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but this is a very small county. So
what 170, 180, something like that?
Very small.
Yeah.
So, and I used to always tell people, if I can find out anything I want to find out about someone who directly impacts my family in Baltimore City, you best believe I can find it out here. But you got to pick and choose your battles, and at the same time, I don't want to waste my energy on something. So as long as you're not a threat to me or my family, we good. But the problem, I think, with Charles County, and just my opinion, you have all these people who want to be a big fish and swimming in a little pond.
Does that mean you're going to run again?
No. I'm not running again. I run my mouth. I'm not running again. Because I don't do things for title. I do things because of the work. And whether win or lose, I was working before I got here. I was working, like my good friend Joe, and may he continue to rest in peace.
R.I.P.
When I went to Galazio's during their Thanksgiving, I wouldn't say drive, but Thanksgiving, I just call it Thanksgiving festivities for those either were homeless, in need, or just didn't feel like cooking.
Right.
He asked me, hey, will you be back if you lose? I said, win or lose, man, I'll be back. I was the only one who came back. And believe me, there was other people who ran for office that were there. And I stayed, and that's how we became friends. So I try to stay true to my word, because catch me in a lie, call me out. And I think that's the problem that we have with, the county as a whole when it comes to some of these elected officials, is that they don't want to be called out for a lie. Because I got some right now. Do not speak to me because I called them out. Called them out.
Who?
I'm not saying on that. All I'll say the state level and the local level. Because I'm going to call you out. But I should be able to call you out as a taxpayer. As a taxpayer. I'm paying your salary. So why can't I call you out? Look, when you're right, you're right. I said, you know what? And believe me, I agree with some of the stuff that all these elected officials do.
Right.
But when I disagree, all of a sudden it's a problem. It's like, I'm not going to kiss your ass. I'm not going to walk around like you the Messiah.
No.
That ain't happening.
No.
It's just not.
No, not at all. It's an elected official. And this isn't like an old, system of England, king and queen type.
And the thing about it, I'm not retiring here. So think about it. I'm pushing for things that I might not even see. But I'm doing it because I care about the community in which I'm in right now. I'm hoping that even if I leave a couple years from now, that if the things that you're doing, anybody else is doing, benefits the community as a whole in the long run,
right?
I'm for it. I get nothing out of it. What I get out of if I say move back to Alabama, Georgia, whatever, I'm not here anymore. So what I get out of it? I'm doing it because I genuinely care.
Let's get some of these comments too as well. I want to make sure we read these. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me. I think on the screen I went from being able to see like 20 plus at a time to about 5 at a time. So.
I hope you don't mind me opening up these chips.
No, let's go ahead. Yo, y'all don't know about Derrick and these salt and vinegar chips, man. I'm worried about your feet. They're gonna start swelling up. You keep eating those.
No, because it takes me. It's gluten free for one, and it takes me a couple days to eat these.
Man, that's where the swelling got to go down first.
And my wife made some delicious chicken and some cheddar biscuits.
Oh my
Next
God!
to string beans, and I was leaving the house.
You
Thank you, Ricky.
Hey, I appreciate you being here. Hey, so question for earlier, Charter County. What's your thoughts? There it is. Got to run back to the mic on that one. Easy with the salt though, and spreading all over my guy's house.
I'm for a charter form,
Huh?
but in a municipality way.
Okay. Yeah, explain it.
Meaning that, let's just be blunt. Waldorf is a bank. You know, little over half your population is in Waldorf.
Mm-hmm.
We can literally run ourselves. We can run ourselves.
So what? How many people live in Water? About what?
80.
70, yeah, 70, 80, something like that.
82,000, I believe.
It's fourth largest.
In the state.
Maryland. Yeah.
And if you happen to include St. Charles,
About
120,000 or something like that. In some cases, St. Charles is considered St. Charles and Waldorf. I don't know. But even if you exclude them,
Right.
we can do it ourselves. And the reason being, a lot of people that and this is what gets me. People say, well, people I've spoken with, I'm like, okay, if you're speaking with them, do a survey. Put something out there on the government website for people to chime in to get the pulse of what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've done it. Sometimes I'll go on Facebook and I'll put a poll out there just to see what the pulse is. I haven't seen any elected officials do that. So when you say that, well, I spoke with such and such, okay, where's the data? Because I know for a fact that people in Waldorf have been asking for these basic amenities. Basic.
So I know the last board, all the commissioners said they were for it as far as
Well, of
Waldorf.
course they're for it now.
Yeah. So realistically, what is the soonest that this could happen?
For municipality, well, it won't. Because they voted for the charter form with whether it's like a county council, whatever, it has to go through that first. Now, there could, and I don't have the time for it, but I kind of want to see how this goes as far as with the charter. Because the charter, you can do it one of two ways. You can have it with a county exec, or you can have it not with a county exec. If you don't have it with a county exec, it's really the same thing. So it kind of defeats the purpose. The district only goes into effect this election. Kind of ironic that it didn't go in effect with the when the Board of Ed did,
Right.
Because it didn't pass through the state. But the previous administration, they could have did it right then and there. They chose not to. So now it's going to go to district only for the commissioner's session.
Yeah. Yep.
With the delegate one, I'm not sure, but what I find to be, I guess, hilarious about that is that none of the delegates live in Waldorf.
Yeah, that's well documented. We've said that multiple times on the podcast.
So
yep.
I come back to the same thing. Waldorf is underrepresented. So the only way you really can represent Waldorf is by being a municipality. That's just my honest opinion.
But so back to the question, Carlos said. So Carlos, he said, let's get the signature since all the commissioners said they'll vote for it. Yeah, I'm all for that. But two, even if that were to happen, what is the soonest?
I would say maybe 3-4 years.
As far as putting together,
yeah, because you have to write the charter. You got to put everything that Charles County government currently has will be changed.
As far as the budget too, as well, right?
Budget, it's a process.
That'd be less money for the county, wouldn't
it? To some degree, and the only reason I say to some degree because I don't think right offhand the municipality be ready to have its own police force, own EMT. So we would have to contract that out with the sheriff's department. Use some of the service. You got water as well. you have water as well. Now
it took Bowie years to get a police force.
Yeah.
After they became municipality.
Now you don't need to get one.
It's like decades.
Yeah, but and the other thing is the water. Now I'm not particularly sure what's going on with La Plata, but what I will say is that La Plata pays a certain amount of money for water, but if I'm a municipality, I don't want to pay. I want to say, hey, can I use some of Waldorf's water? Well, that would be fine, but here's the problem. If they were to do that, we get taxed. Because think about it, we have less water, and the water bills are already going to go up. They're going up because of maintenance. So maybe, I don't know what the percent is, but each year they're going to go up, not because we don't have the water, because you have maintenance. But when you have like municipalities such as, say, La Plata, who want to dig into, because we don't get our water from here. I think we get it from WSC or whatever it's called. But so that they have to use our water and they have to pay a fee. But they should be paying more if they're going to take away from, say, Waldorf, because it's really where they would be taken away from,
right?
Waldorf.
So obviously, all these, I guess, committees will have to be put together to find out and plan all this too.
Yeah,
as well.
It's not something, boom, you snap your finger, it can happen.
Yeah, this will take a lot of time here too.
Yeah.
Carlos, residents have the right to municipality charter. Residents have the right to municipality charter. So I mean, I guess Carlos be part of those residents too as well. Look, man just volunteered himself. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, because the only ones that can vote for it are the ones that are within Waldorf.
Right.
That's it. And some people have issue with it. I'm like, so let me get this straight. You live way out here, and you want to tell me in Waldorf what we can do and what we cannot do. That's where we at right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah.
What's the point of having the municipality?
Yeah. You get 25% of the voters in the district to sign. The commissioners vote in favor of putting it on the ballot. It goes to referendum no less than 60 days after the favorable vote. Well, the hell are we waiting for then?
Yeah, but the thing about it, of course they said they would back it, but legally they don't have to.
But this is my thing.
But they're on record saying they would support it.
Yeah, but I mean, things change. Data, surveys, all that. I mean, who knows? Honestly, until that vote's put down, what people actually believe in. The big thing is that there would be less money going to the county. But that's a lot. The water become municipality, and then Charles going to a charter form of government.
They probably would say the same.
I mean, PG County is, you're talking like 1 million people living in there. It's less than 175,000 here. That seems like a lot.
Yeah, it wouldn't greatly impact Waldorf. It would the county. Like I said, Waldorf is the bank. Waldorf is the bank,
and they'll lose the bank.
Well, they're gonna lose some of it.
They don't want to lose. Would you want to lose some of your money?
They don't want to lose it. Now, but I'm not an accountant, mathematician. I know math, but
it's college educated. Just came off a tour.
But it's one of those things where, just like anything, you have to research it, and then people say, "Well, the tax is gonna go up." I said, "Well, guess what? As long as I'm getting these amenities, I don't care." You've been to Alexandria, Virginia, right?
Oh, they got it's a whole lot.
Oh, but they got a lot to do, don't they?
They got a lot. There's a lot out there. There's a lot.
I've been to Bowie.
Yep, another place too as well.
Hey, you see anybody complaining?
Works for the people. Quality of life, right?
Yeah. That's the way I look at it. So,
let me scroll up here too as well. Take a look at some of these guys. Pascal said you brought the chips. Hey, check your text messages too as well. Thanks, Shauna May sent you something. Check your text messages. Carlos, this time. It's about time that the commissioner vote the same as far as their election. I mean, we'll see. We'll see, Carlos. I know obviously as an activist such as yourself, this is your lane right here. So I say run it, man. And it starts with talking, but action does a lot more. So this
like my man said,
conversation. Let's get
Black
some
Eagle Joe Madison. So
let's get some feet on the ground. Yeah, there you go. All right. So before I want to move on to school board too as well, but let's take a pause real quick because I want to do this beginning the podcast, but this is actually a good spot to do this. So Derrick, Terry, you run a podcast too as well. You have a couple books that you've written as well. Can you speak on the podcast first and some of your writing material? I guess some of my notes for this next segment too as well.
well, I'm not sure if I consider it a podcast, but we'll just say it's a podcast. But
It works better for the podcast.
Yeah.
Say, yeah, you know how that goes.
Yeah, it's actually called "I'm Not Complaining, I'm Just Saying," and I did this. Wow, I want to say maybe 5. Before people start doing this, I was more or less doing it because someone said, "Man, you complain a lot," and I was like, "Okay, and your point, all right?"
So you admit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, "But I give solutions too, right?" He's like, "Yeah, exactly. That's why I complain." Now you don't have to like the solution, but I'm giving you one. I'm not giving you some stupid or stuff like, "Well, what can we do to stop speeding?" I don't know, put a big old pole in the middle. No, that's not a solution. So
I hope no one said that.
yeah, no, but I'm just.
I'm not. I got you. I got you. Yeah.
It's all for solutions. So the show itself, and I did bring a copy of my book. I didn't sign it yet, but I will for you.
I need a copy of this one. So we put it in the new. Oh, here we go, right here.
That
See,
right there.
I like gifts. I like gifts. I like gifts when people come to the podcast.
That was written back.
It's very good.
In 2012, and when I was in education still at the time,
building.
and I was working in Charles County. Charles County is the reason why I wrote that book.
Really? What inspired you in Charles County?
Institutional racism, within the school system. I was dealing with a former principal that I did not report to, who felt the need that I should report to her or him, and I didn't. And it was almost like I was micromanaged. I was an IEP facilitator, so I knew my stuff, just didn't know how Charles County did it.
Right.
And to make a long story short, it was almost like I was getting nitpicked. It's like if I email you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect you to email everybody else with reply. I'm like, they weren't even part of the conversation.
Right.
They, petty stuff like that. I'm like, the hell, right? And I think the final straw was I was going through a series of deaths in the family, and my aunt passed away. And I had IEP meetings, and I contacted the parents like, "Look, I had a death in the family. Do you mind if we postpone?" They said, "Sure."
Right.
Rescheduled. Yeah. And then I get a phone call saying that, "Hey, we can't find such and such." What are you talking about? When we're in the meeting, I was like, so they went ahead and had the meeting without me, and I was pissed because I had already organized this. So what happened when I got back? I met with the head of SPED, I believe at that time, and I said, "Look, be blunt. Why'd you hire me? Because I'm black?" And that was the reason. Now, I had all the credentials, but my thing is, if you're gonna hire me for my credentials, then let me do my job without micromanaging.
Mm-hmm.
And because the other people weren't getting micromanaged, and I knew my stuff, so I said, "You know what? I can't do this anymore." So I said, "Look, I'd rather be in Iraq than to be here," and I was serious. So I went on active duty after that.
Yeah, prior military service as well too. Yeah.
So
you and me both, absolutely.
Then writing the book was therapeutic because it touched on a lot of things that I've seen and witnessed when I was in the school system, as well as what other people go into school systems. It's from a parent's perspective, a child's perspective, a teacher's perspective, and as well as an administrator perspective. So I give 4 perspectives, and it's just various topics that they're real life topics, but it's creative nonfiction. So of course, I had to throw a little stuff in there to make it, entice the reader. And then my second book,
some more gifts.
Yeah, Never Judge a Book by a Cover. It's okay to talk about mental illness. Kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And I was going through some stuff that I didn't know I was going through. And it was to the point to where I wasn't suicidal, but I could care less what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was angry. I was doing stuff that wasn't within the norm.
Okay.
And a lot of this was impacted by things that happened when I was deployed, things from my past. Because I don't want to give the book away. Pascal's read the book, and she gave me a glowing review.
You got audio? Is it on audio too as well?
No, not yet. I haven't had time. That's a process, but I hope to get to that. But what I will say is that there was stuff that was dormant that came out during counseling, and what we think as men as a rite of passage was really molestation at 5 years old for me with an older female. And I became fixated with like seeing a naked body at the age of 9 or 10, like, all right, whatever. You know, it's gonna be, and then, you know how kids are.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen that so many times. And, you know, that story is in the book. But it kind of solidified to me how these relationships I had, why they sometimes didn't work. Because in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know what, you're going to leave me and all this other stuff and things like that, because I didn't know what was going on as a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
But it put things in perspective that although that was dormant, I was dealing with something that happened that was traumatizing and hadn't been able to address it. And I had to, and it was addressed, some 40 years later or something like that, 40 years later. And there's a lot of people out there, specifically black men, who just refuse to get help.
Agreed.
And had I not get counseling, I'm going to tell you right now,
Yeah.
I'd probably be dead, or I probably would have killed somebody had I not got counseling. So I thank the Lord that he gave me the opportunity to get the counseling, to put me in the position that I am. You know, I'm on good meds, but the only thing about the meds, it prevents me from crying. So I haven't cried probably in 3 years. And it's damn you do, damn you don't. But if you get the if you want the book, go to edvocare.org, and if you want a signed copy, especially if you live in the Waldorf area, you'll see the red button, signed copy, and I'll make arrangements to get it signed and get it to you. But for the most part, the book is therapeutic. I don't do all this for money. A lot of my proceeds I've donated to Light the Way Foundation. We can talk about that near the end.
Right.
So this is not like, ooh, let me get rich. I'm okay. You know, I'm not broke, not rich, not poor, but I'm okay.
Not complaining.
Yeah. So everything doesn't have to be about money.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah, the mental aspect portion of that, I'm talking on the podcast too as well, is definitely something I relate to. I've been, even recently, with, essentially what I consider part of my life's work, burning down in my backyard, it helps me too as well to hear other people's mental health journeys, and then able to, say, it's okay. You know what I mean? You can build from here, just listen to other people going through the same human things that you've gone through too. So maybe not exactly yours, but at the same time, just being in a dark place and be able to find light again, or be able to find happiness out of sadness too as well. So no, I think I'm definitely going to sit here and
I'll make sure I
definitely read these. Please do sign these.
You want me to sign them later, or you want me to sign them now?
Well,
we're not doing a show.
Yeah, we sign after.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll sign after the podcast.
Make sure you read it.
I will. We'll talk about it too as well.
Okay.
No, I think it's fantastic too as well that you donate a lot of it for charity. So you're not looking to make a profit, just trying to get the story out there, hopefully inspire somebody.
Yeah, and I hope, and I know for a fact it has, because I've had people respond to me and said, I gave this to my husband, and he went to counseling. It's
a beautiful thing.
And I had someone
change your life.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Everybody may not have access to health care like that, but at least find somebody you can talk to. And look, I'm a believer in God, but God can't talk to me about stuff like that. He just can't. Some people may be upset. He's not going to be able to give me how to cope with it. He can't prescribe meds to me and things of that nature. So you need to seek professional help.
Right.
And I think that's, maybe somewhat tie into what we're going to talk about with school safety. Who knows? But some of that is tied into it.
Yeah. So, yeah, 2 books, Derrick Terry, Never Judge a Book by Its Cover. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying podcasts have the same name, too, as well. Thank you for sharing that. And that's something I didn't know. We've talked multiple times, too, as well. So I'm looking forward to reading your book and talk a little more aside from there. So, yeah, if you want to find out more, reach out to him. Check his podcast out. I'm pretty sure you'll be live here. And whenever you get inspired to get back to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's been so busy, but I'm trying. But I'm like, look, I said Ricky is taking the lead, so
hey,
I could kind of chime in on his, but he had
we'll tag team here soon.
Although he had some unfortunate issues with his studio, I don't have nothing like that. I ain't got nothing like that, and I'm not getting anything like that.
We'll be back soon. We'll be back soon, very soon. Oh, we got a couple announcements here soon. With as far as the permits go, there's a lot that comes with buying a new building too as well. You got to get the health department to make sure everything's fine, septic, all that.
Yep.
Then obviously got to plot the land, had to send all that in, had to pay $65. Then the permit office too as well. So it was a process, and obviously getting the building. I have identified one. We've identified one, but we're not. We haven't signed anything, so I'm not going to officially talk about that. But what we are going to talk about next is Charles County Public Schools, Board of Education, all that. Let's start at the top, man. What's going on with D1? Why hasn't the seat been filled?
I honestly don't know.
Somebody tell me, comment section, why ain't D1 been filled
yet? I think
yet?
the last time a seat was not filled is when my dear fraternity brother, who's now in the Omega chapter.
You got a lot of fraternity brothers out here doing a lot of things.
Well, he passed away, but
rest in peace.
But when he passed away, I believe his seat was open for about a year, and then I guess they waited to the next election.
What was his seat?
It was no district. It was board of education.
Okay, got it.
That's the last time that I remember a board of education seat not being filled. And maybe to some degree I can see the justification because it was maybe a year left, but that's a lot of additional work for the board. And in this case, and this is just my solution.
Here we go.
Is why not have a town hall in District 1 for those candidates? I'm giving you two proposals. For those candidates that are interested in the position, let the public ask the questions, not the board. Of course, the questions should be vetted.
Right.
You don't want to ask personal stuff. And then from there, the board can pick their top whatever based on community input. Or whoever was number 3, go ahead and put them in there. But I just don't understand why it's taking a year. It should not take a year because right now District 1 is only being represented by 1. That's it. And everybody else has 2. So District 1, y'all need to speak up. That's all I can tell you.
Comment section. Let's go right to you before we go into a little more with this. Pascal. Oh, by the way, you got to sign Pascal's book too as well.
Oh,
she said you can sign the book.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. I'll let you take care of that one on the back end. She also says the board has claimed they are too busy to get to it, but that means D1 families don't fully have representation. Too busy. What does that mean? Too busy?
I just gave my option. Look, have a town or a forum, whatever. They ain't got to be there. Just say, hey, if somebody from D1 wants to take the lead, and just have them have a forum, and they can look. You can tape it. They can look at it later. I don't understand what too busy is. You would have to tell me, okay, you too busy. So they're gonna sit on it for a year?
Yeah, that's what I've heard too as well. Maybe up to a year it can take to fill a seat.
Why? So think about it. You're too busy, right? So now, but you one short. Yeah, you're damn right. You're busy now because you one short.
And the thing is that there are people I've talked to, those who have ran to as well, that are highly interested in that seat. Yeah, that would love to continue their campaign. Yeah. So it's not like it's a lack of people. Yeah. You gotta go find them.
So yeah, you're too busy. Think about it. Think about how this sounds. You're too busy. You're one short. I would think if you had somebody else, you wouldn't be as busy.
Now more work.
That's just my opinion. But.
Carlos, the voters voted for 2 people right now. They are underrepresented. Cindy got what? At least 20,000 votes.
Man, I can't remember
something like that. I want to say 20,000, maybe 20,000.
Oh, you talking about the one that was on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
She had to get obviously she won, so it was a number of votes, but yes, that's a I mean, I don't care if it was 3,000. It's still a large chunk when you're in a county of 170K. That's a very large percentage of people, and the fact that is just being ignored. Someone in D1 needs to raise hell. That's what needs to be, honestly. I can't.
Sorry. I'm applying for that board. I'm saying, Joseph, what aren't you applying for?
Man, applying for everything. Courthouse, governorship. Man, maybe on the presidential ballot somewhere. Oh, no. Man, you keep doing your thing now. Keep doing your thing.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. If you got the time, go ahead.
Man gonna be on D1, D2, D3. Yeah, they plan on sitting on for a year. Why? I don't understand. What's the I want someone.
Well, they said too busy, but explain to me what too busy means.
I need. You know what? Honestly, and I don't know if I get this answer publicly, but I would love for someone from the school board to logistically explain why that would be a thing.
I think that if someone was to speak, it probably would be the chair, because the other ones only can speak based on their opinion or based on what they think.
Oh, I would take that too as well. That's fine.
And you know, I'm
That's
good friends with pretty much everybody on the board. I'm asking you right now, can someone explain, and Mike, good man, love him to death. Can you at least have someone explain to the public what too busy means? And if you're short one, I would think that one would help reduce some of that too busy. I'm not a mathematician, nothing like that, but what do you think?
Amanda, they just started, so there's no reason not to elect someone. Well, I know it wouldn't be, well, yes, it would be so much more so like an interview process, questions in front of a board. I remember all that popped out when she first resigned, all the information said this is the process to elect a new, or not elect, but appoint a new individual for D1. And, I mean, at this point, it's been, 3 months?
But see, here's the other thing.
It's been 3 months.
If you, let's say hypothetically,
2-3 months?
Let's say hypothetically you have all the candidates from District 1 who reapply. You already know what their platform is, right? You're going to end up asking the same questions they were asking on the campaign trail. So it's like, are you looking for that specific answer to fit in with the team that you got?
Oh, probably so.
But you shouldn't.
Well, but come on now. This,
and that's
you know how this goes.
But the thing about it, regardless if you like it or not, District 1 was elected by the people, right?
100%.
Now, I understand what the rules are, but at least give the public some input to say, you know what, this is who we would like to see.
Well, you said, you mentioned a town hall forum, or obviously it'll be public interviews too as well.
Yeah, I'll host it because I'm not a District 1. Gee, you can host it.
Who we got to talk to? You know to talk to.
I'll get on.
Yeah.
I'll see if they'll do it. They'll probably tell me no.
Yeah,
Don't hurt to ask.
Nah, we can do that. Hell, brand new BNY building. We can do it right there. We can do it right there. You could do one in person, and then we can do one for the public, in an auditorium somewhere, preferably. Let's see. Shannon, too busy. Spa days in Florida. Oh yeah, I don't. The board only meets once a. What is a school board member's role monthly, like day-to-day operations?
Honestly, I forgot, but I do know that they do more than just go to those meetings. They go to some schools. They may have some work sessions.
Yeah,
you have to come in. So
and obviously most of them they work other jobs too as well.
That would justify the too busy, because they have additional stuff that relates to their board duties. And once again, if you're too busy, bring somebody else on.
I don't understand this. I mean, a couple interviews. Candidates already out there. They do all the work as far as themselves, and then appoint.
I'm just like I said, if we can just get a little justification on what too busy means, that'd be very much appreciated.
Yeah, I want to find out more of that. This is obviously I publicly asked before, and I'm asking again too as well.
But District 1 is the one really y'all need to hoop and holler.
Yeah,
I'm saying, look, hoop and holler.
Yeah.
This is what I would do. I'm gonna give you a recommendation.
That's the big thing too.
I'm gonna give you a recommendation. If you're in District 1, send an email to each member of the board, asking them to explain what too busy is and why you can't get this District 1 rep or District 1 board member within a year or less. That's what I would. You flood them with emails. Flood them with emails. And I know some of them going to be like, damn, Derrick, why'd you do? But look, I told y'all from the giddy up. I'm going to speak truth to power. And just because we're friends doesn't mean that I'm not going to say something to you. But I'm not a District 1. So District 1, you got to do this.
At this point, put on the 2024 ballot. Nicole, Yonnell and Daughter have been out of the schools, and I see him at the schools too as well. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love that.
But that's a choice.
Yeah, but
that's a choice. That's a choice. You know, and that's a choice. Even if you invited, it's still a choice. You can go or not go. It's still a choice.
At this point, put it on the 2024 ballot. Look, and I have to point this out again. Once again, if you don't want the office, do not put your name on the ballot. All right? Because you may accidentally end up winning.
Yeah, and then be like, oh, I didn't know this what it entailed. Yeah, you just be on YouTube for one day out of the month, and that's it.
No, yeah, and I mean, I'm right here in District 2 as well. But if it was District 2, there'd be some issues because there's no reason that it just doesn't make it. I don't get it. I don't see one good reason why this seat is going unfilled for this long, and the fact you didn't put out any criteria for it. I'll essentially call it malpractice, to be honest with you.
I don't know what you want to call it, but District 1, y'all need to speak up. I gave you a solution. Email each individual board member and ask them, please define or clarify too busy, and why do we have to wait almost a year to get represented? Because right now you're underrepresented. I'll tell you right now, you are. Now, I don't know if the District 1 current candidate is pushing for this to get filled right away. That I don't know. But, you know, there's strength in numbers. So you can be on, you know, Ricky's show all day, put in the comments. They may see the comments, they may not. But guess what? You need to email them individually. And CC the superintendent as well.
Yeah, that's another thing, too, as well. I don't get it. I don't. It just absolutely blows my mind, the fact that this is even a conversation.
Yeah.
Carlos, glad they have visiting schools. Can you start visiting bus driver lots? Carlos. This one thing. I understand where Carlos is coming from. I need to do some legitimate research, and I said I would, and I haven't had a chance to yet on the history of the bus driver contract and how it was awarded in Charles County. I think that'll answer a lot of questions about what's going on now with it. You start at the beginning, you start building a case from there, and we'll kind of understand why they're being treated the way they are.
Well, I think part of it is that
Also,
they're not employees. Because think about it, with a contract, right? And I'm going to give you a round number.
But it's a bad contract for the employee.
But see,
great for the employer.
But see, I'm a contracting. Well, I was a contracting officer. Got a new position, so I'm not serving in that capacity. But let's say, for instance, I have a contract for $300,000.
Right.
That I'm given to vendor A. So they give me a set of salaries. Now, that one salary may say $50,000. They don't necessarily have to adhere to that. That's probably the max, which means if I'm bringing you in at 50, I can pay you 30. We don't control that.
Right.
Now, you can structure the contract that way, that it reads that way, but most times governments don't get involved. Because remember,
I understand that right there. Yeah, I get
got to
that.
make a profit. They got to make a profit.
They got to make a profit off the person.
Yeah, they got to make a profit.
So they're not going to sit there and give you a whole lot of money and all this overhead. Next thing they're losing.
And keep in mind that I don't know the percentage, but Charles County, meaning us, are paying a percentage of the premium health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
The contractor isn't paying that. And most contracts, that's covered for the contract that I've worked on. All that money we gave them is up to them to how they structure their health insurance. We don't have any part in that.
Right. But that's why I'm curious how everything started in the first place, too, as well.
But in this area, I don't think there is a contractor that's large enough to support. Like, I think Prince George's, they have one. They can do that. But, you know, you're looking at fleet. That costs money.
Oh, yeah.
And from what I understand with those buses, especially if they have to be new, it's not like they just sitting there chilling in the parking lot. They got to be built from scratch. That costs money. So it really comes down to dollars and cents. I'm for the bus drivers being employees if we have the money, but if we don't have the money, we just don't have the money.
And
I think asking for additional money, and that's what they probably gonna have to do. Remember, you got that shoot, I forgot, brain fart. What is that thing called? The money.
The budget?
No, not the budget. Somebody help me out there. I forgot what it's called.
You're talking.
I want to say MD360. I know that's not it. Oh, the blueprint.
Blueprint. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. You have that money coming in, but how much of that money they're going to use for bus drivers and all the other stuff, I don't know. and you have to be able to sustain it from year to year. And that money is dwindling. And I actually don't think we're getting as much money as we anticipated because of our median income.
So the thing is that people could say they support the bus drivers, but you can't really do anything about it.
Not if they're not employees, nah. You have to. It's the contract. That contractor is the one who controls it.
And that's how the contract works, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a scary thing between now and the first day of school. What they do,
Well, who does, the bus drivers or
bus drivers?
Oh, I mean, I got my own thoughts. So I'll get into that in a second.
That's Carlos' topic.
Me and Carl, we've talked about this one a little bit offline too as well. CCPS and contractors control salaries, benefits, and working conditions.
They do?
I don't know,
or they should.
You said control. The working conditions part. That's something that I don't think is going to change. I mean, it's just.
Well, they don't. When you.
It's hard. It's already hard as is with most of them picking up different routes, and if one's down, they got to pick up the slack. Then obviously, kids from the bus, all sorts of things. I mean, then you deal with like maybe what AC's out, stuff like that. Like,
but
the benefits too as well. As far as retirement, isn't great.
Yeah, I don't, and I haven't seen.
Actually, it's not great. It's not good at all. It's almost not. It's pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the contracts in their entirety, but the type of contracts I'm accustomed to looking at, yes, the government controls it, but they only control it to the extent in which is written in the contract. So if the contract's say for $1 million, that may be a part of the negotiation. But as far as how much they give the bus drivers, if that is not stipulated in the contract, then they can give them, the $50,000 budget for each bus driver. They can give them 30.
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree.
And it happens being deployed.
That's how contracts. That's how contracts.
It happens when
work.
it's deployed because I know American citizens were getting paid more than the foreign people for certain contracts doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
I've seen it myself.
So we know it happens. Yeah, it's legal.
It's all up to the contractor.
Yeah.
Carlos, we can say that they are not employees, but they are essential to the school system. Run efficiently. 100% agree. If you have a huge number leave, then the school board will be dealing with the problem. I mean, let's say the bus drivers every week, maybe on a Tuesday, they did just a huge call out. And then next week it was Thursday, they did a huge call out. Then the week after that was Monday, they did a huge call out. I think that'd be more effective than what they're doing right now.
Yeah, because what you're going to have is buses. Some students may not get to school on time, which means they're going to lose instruction. Can't get it back. And unfortunately, you may have some students where that's their first real meal of the day that will miss it. I'm saying there's a lot of pros and cons to it. And, I sympathize with the bus drivers of what they're going through. But then you also have to look at it from a quote-unquote child welfare aspect where, we're hurting the kids. So I don't know where the balance is at, to be honest with you. And that's something they're going to have to decide.
CCPS negotiates with the Contract Association for the terms of the contract. Yep. And then public schools pay directly to retirement health care.
Yeah, and
once again, their retirement is not good.
Yeah,
actually, Carlos, can you give me some the figures for that? I keep saying not good, but I think with over 25 years, it's maybe $1,000 a year, something like that. Yeah. It's not anything that you can live off of. It's not even considered retirement.
Yeah, and most government agencies don't pay. And look, they said here's the $1 million or whatever it is. You need to make it work. So it's like, on top of what we give in the contractor, a portion of the budget that we have goes to pay for that, and they're technically not employees. But
yeah,
that's how they structure the contract.
I think the only way for them to get what they want to is that they got to raise some hell. Yeah, about $1,000 a year per service. There it is, right there. So $1,000 a year per service.
That's not even COLA.
Nah, you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything with that. It's a poison pill, you know. So the bus drivers, if they really want to find change, they're gonna have to really make things uncomfortable.
Cost of living adjustment, right? That's what COLA means.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
For those that were saying cola, you talking about soda?
E. coli. Yeah. Nah, but you gotta get real uncomfortable very, very fast, or it's just you're gonna be in the same situation in 5 years, or the same situation you're in 10 years ago. So,
It depends what you want. Like, if you want to have a safe revolution, then, maybe we wouldn't got civil rights until the 1990s. So they gotta, I don't know, they gotta. There's more they could do on their part too as well. If they really want to fight for it, because it is a fight.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, the only real solution is to some way somehow get more funding, because that's the only way they're going to be employees.
Where they getting that from?
I don't know when these contracts expire, but maybe they have to restructure these contracts where the contractor, somewhere in there, they have to say, look, this is what you have to give them. So I don't know, because I haven't seen the contracts to really make the determination to give a solid solution on what they should do. Not mean they're going to do it, but what they should do.
I know a few drivers left for Calvert because the demands were met there.
Yeah, Calvert got money.
Yeah. They do new contracts each year. And it's going to be the same the same thing for the bus drivers at this rate. If you got nothing to bargain with at the table, then besides just, I'm hungry, then you will continue to be ignored. It's not until you start, like Tupac said, you knock in the door and you demand. It costs a little more ruckus and revolution and things that happen.
At this rate, they're gonna get their PE class before they get to school. That's a lot of walking.
There's gotta be more fight, man. I'm with them, but you gotta get some real uncomfortable spots to get what you want. Yeah. Did you go to that school safety meeting?
No.
About a week and some change ago.
Did I?
At this point.
No, I didn't. But I was at a event that was hosted by Councilman Ward in La Plata, and the issue of school safety did come up. And one thing that I had asked one of the sheriff's deputies is that, well, I wouldn't say ask. What I had stated was the traditional means of, say, keeping drugs and alcohol, that's not going to work.
Traditional means as such as what?
You just hope you find it. That's not going to keep drugs and alcohol out of school.
No.
But non-traditional, we have K-9 units who can sniff out these things, right? You do randoms. I'm not going to say it will stop it, but it will make the perpetrator, you know what? I don't know when. Just like bases. Every time you go through a base, you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know they're going to check in your car, tell you get out.
Yeah, go ahead, pull up to the side, all that too as well.
But I think some of the community would have issues with dogs coming into school sniffing lockers for drugs. I'm thinking, look, do you want the drugs out of your school? Yes or no? So you may have to go to non-traditional means to do it. Are you upset with the violence and the fighting in school? I'm thinking, okay, why not put cameras in the classroom? Now, of course, they don't want cameras because they may say it'll cost money. You can't have audio, but you can have visual. And I don't know if it's ACLU or somebody would fight invasion of privacy. And I'm like, look, once again, do you want school safety or you don't want school safety? Now, it's not going to stop kids from fighting, but no. I think that it will reduce it. And fights have been going on forever, so it's nothing new.
Right.
It's nothing new. But what I don't like, and me and Sheriff Berry, I'll mention him because he creates the policy.
Uh-huh.
Being transparent is good. But being transparent on everything is not. And what I mean by that, if I'm under the legal age to be charged with a crime or whatever, then why am I putting it in a press release? That means that the school took care of it for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these things happen. That's just me.
But isn't it still good to know what's going on out there?
Yeah, but you can't charge the person, right?
They can't charge them, but I still want to know if something popped off.
Okay, let the school handle that.
Yeah, what if your kid goes there? What is it, just a press release, a letter to the parents? It's still going to circulate.
Back in the day, there was no letter.
No, there was no social media either.
Yeah, there was no social media. My thing is, it to me, it seemed like every time you look, boom, there's something bad. Oh, what happened? I hear people, oh, here we go, another PG County and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I ask people, so what the hell are you doing? I'm just curious. What are you doing?
Right.
To help change behavior? I'm curious. What are you doing? We know there's restorative approaches.
What's your thoughts on those?
Well, it's not practiced with fidelity in Charles County, and nor does Charles County. They don't have it in its entirety. I know that for a fact. And but you have to have the buy-in. You know, at least 80% of your staff has to have the buy-in, and I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. The other part is that you can't. If you make the training mandatory, then you got to go through the ECAC, and they have to renegotiate. So there comes a time where you say, okay, yes, we want it, but you can't make it mandatory. Now, I know, and I think in Prince George's County, it's going to be mandatory, or it is, and they're starting it. They have a restorative practice department. Now, is it perfect? No, nothing's perfect. But at least it's being implemented and it's being used with more fidelity than it is in Charles County. And I think if Charles County was to take the approach of, hey, how do we address these behaviors? You can kind of incorporate it into the curriculum. Mm-hmm. Or you can have these teachable moments. But I don't think, a lot of people complain. But I'm thinking, okay, what is it you're doing to provide the solution? Like when we took these young students out to the college tour, yeah, we talked about college, but we also talked about choices. One of the coaches, Coach Wooten, she talked, and I can't remember her 3 points, but one was, don't let anybody stop your dream. The other one was pick your friends wisely and then do stuff intentionally, meaning that intentionally in the sense that you're doing things the right way, not the wrong way, the right way. Yeah, I have a test tomorrow, so I need to intentionally study for this test and also do everything else for my rest of my classes. So you need to intentionally do good. And I think when we provide that positive feedback and reinforcement to these students on a daily basis, we can help solve it. That's the traditional means. But the biggest thing is education. We have to educate them. And I see that in some schools, and some schools I don't.
In this county.
But it's not only this county, it's systemic. Because every school district to some degree is faced with this. Mm-hmm. COVID didn't help.
No, yeah. I talked to teachers. It did not. It set back.
Yeah.
But it definitely set a lot of things back. Yeah,
but at some point, you can't use COVID as an excuse anymore. Like I tell my son, I said, choices have consequences, whether good or bad, and you have to deal with it.
I don't know what the perfect solution is. I do know that, what's the old proverb? It takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
So the more, and obviously I couldn't be there for that night as far as the meeting, but I talked to a few people that went. I like the fact that there's involvement, there's concern, even social media. We see people comment, and sometimes the energy isn't always the right to have, but the concern level is there. Now the big thing is that can we find a way as adults, which is I know it's hard, but work together to. We all have the same thing. At the end of the day, is that we want our children to be in a safe learning environment and get the most out of it. Now, can we find a way just to work together for that? I know we talked before on here about just parents being in schools too as well. Obviously, what you did kind of remind me of that. I think it was Louisiana where they had, and Pascal, we talked about this too as well, where they had just fathers, in the hallways just talking, with the kids, just kind of monitoring things and sort, and it kind of cut down on a lot of the nonsense that was happening in between from class to class. So I don't know what the perfect solution is as far as I know. Obviously, you don't want anyone, God forbid, bringing a weapon and harming a child to school or things of that sort. But there's the randoms. That's a deterrent. I'm all for deterrence. I'm all for the mental aspect of children when it comes to just talking about the things they do. Even my son, I mentioned last month on the podcast that he sees my middle one. He sees a counselor once a week just to talk, and it's done wonders for him since it started. I think in February when we got back from overseas. So it's things like that have helped.
and not everyone needs the same bucket to just throw them in and just treat everyone the same, because you're dealing with a bunch of different personalities and learning types. So, one, I like listening to the teachers. They're there every single day, see exactly what they're doing or what they're seeing, and then kind of just work off of that too as well. So, but it takes a community effort for everyone to come together, and that needs to happen at our level, as parents, adults, to work better for our children.
And I think the key thing, because the big thing that we see on social media is drugs.
Yeah.
Guns, whatever.
Charles County Sheriff's page, yeah.
And,
I'm gonna help.
And what I always, ask parents, I said, okay, so what are we going to do to solve it? Well, it's bad parenting. I was like, so you made that assumption based off of what? You don't know. I'm saying you just making an assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will say, well, they're being taught at home. How do you know? You're just assuming. And some people say, just lock them up. I said, okay, so now you locked up a kid. You haven't rehabilitated the kid. You haven't addressed the behavior. So there's discipline and punishment. Punishment is when get in that closet, shut the door, and you're going to be there for 2 weeks. That's punishment, because I haven't talked with you. I haven't done anything. Discipline is, you know what? You got to go in there for 2 days, 3 days, but every day we're going to come in there. We're going to touch on each one of these behaviors. Tell me why you did it and how we correct it until you can be better. That's discipline. And so it kind of gets on my nerves. People say, well, they're not getting consequences. How do you know? They don't know. And everybody says something about somebody's kid until it's your kid. Until it's your kid. And that's why I don't talk about other people's kids. And adults should know better. They should know better, because they're making assumptions of what's going on. You don't know what's going on in that kid's life. Just like my book. Never judge a book by a cover. Oh, he's always smiling and happy. You have no idea what's going through my mind when you don't see me. And these kids have issues.
Oh, you're gonna tell me that.
And rather than sit there and point the finger, I say, I point the finger at you, who's ever watching. Yeah. I say, what are you doing? What are you doing to help combat this? And a lot of times I don't get an answer. I don't get an answer. Well, it's not my problem. Yeah, but you ain't got no problem complaining about it, though.
Yeah, look, it's we in the community together.
Yeah. You here. Well, I'm going to move out. Okay. Well, hurry up. What take you so long?
So, I mentioned this too as well. My wife, former Charles County teacher, and we would talk about like a lot of the home aspects with children, and it's a lot of sad shit, man.
Yeah,
it's a lot of sad shit as far as, what some of these kids have. They don't have, parental figures, even though there are parents in the house or parents nearby, or they're being raised by grandma 65 years old. And shout out to grandma, but grandma tired. It's hard to raise a couple, 9, 10-year-olds at that age.
But then you have some that are being raised right, but peer pressure can kick your ass.
Yes, and that too as well. And I do believe when it comes to, like, if you're doing dirt, that has to be corrected. Like, it has to be straight up. But I'm for correcting, disciplining the issue, and then here's a better road right here.
Yeah,
I'm for both. I understand both. I'm not just for lock them up, throw away the key. We ain't gonna see you again. Let's see if we could fix it. Correct the issue, discipline the issue, and then we move from there. And see if you could do better. I'm all for, obviously depending on what it is. You don't want anyone, like I said, you want to bring in like a weapon or something crazy like that. But yeah, you want to be able to address the issue at its root and move on from there.
Yeah, because to me, when any student brings a weapon or drugs to school, something is going on. They have no idea. They're not even thinking about the consequences. At that point, it's about. It's more reactionary. They're not looking at the bigger picture until they get caught. And once again, if parents are adamant about getting rid of the drugs, then I urge you to call the superintendent of the board and say, you know what, can we have random checks with canines? It's not meant to scare the students. It's to keep the drugs. The drugs come in as early as elementary school.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So,
I talked about my boys. Yeah.
and they're there. So you can't get no metal detector is going to detect drugs. And metal detectors. Imagine going through a line of TSA, right? How long do you think it would take for schools to do it?
I mean,
they'd breeze them through. Go ahead, because you'd be there all day.
We got inner city schools with metal detectors and all that too as well. So
yeah, but they believe me, they're not scanning.
no,
it's like quick. Okay. But I think for the drugs, the K-9 units would work well if you randomly did it, and then get that kid some help.
I'm not against it. Yeah.
Give him some help.
Yeah, I'm all like I think Ming just said. I'm all for personal accountability as well. Decisions, choices. That's a choice that you made. You decided to do it. Let's take responsibility for that, and let's see if we can fix and correct from there before things get out of hand and it becomes something crazy in the community when that child becomes an adult. Amanda, unfortunately, I know at my oldest kid's school, the counselors are being substitutes and can't deal with some of the issues they are trained for.
Yeah, and that's happened, unfortunately, because there's a teacher shortage.
Yeah,
and
which is another huge problem
that
with everything's popping off.
That I think is going to get increasingly worse next year.
I think it's just going to keep getting worse.
Yeah, because
I don't think there's no recovery, personally.
You remember back in the day where you would have a teacher that would, be there 30 years, 40 years. Them days is gone.
Nah. Even the ones I know is there for 30 years.
Maybe I'm showing my age.
Yeah,
Maybe
even the ones I know
is
is close. It's like, look, Rick, I don't know. If I got these another 2-3 years left, I'm like, really? Like, I just, they gonna stick on, bud. But do you want someone in that mindset though? They're just holding on until pension.
Oh, once they got in their mind that they out, they can care less. I'm
but does anyone really want that?
You might not want it, but
you gonna get it.
But
you gonna get it. It is what it is.
You're gonna get it. And I've worked with teachers like I got 2 years left. I'm like, well, they don't want to listen. Oh well. And when we look at how do we address teacher recruitment,
and that teacher didn't come in like that either.
Nah,
they came in full of joy, happy, ready to get after it, and just got beat down from the system over years.
And some people think, well, you give more money, they'll stay. Well, guess what? With more money comes more responsibility. And it comes, and we already know that teachers are given an average of 10 hours of work for free. I mean, you definitely, one of my shows on episodes I call pimping teachers, because that's what school systems do. They know that they're going to get 10 hours of work for free. You go home, you grade papers, do IEPs. You don't get compensated whatsoever for that.
Like I said, I saw it firsthand. Yeah, I'm like, girl, it is like 10 o'clock at night.
And I'm
what
like,
are you doing?
I'm like, no, I'm not doing it no more. I'm teaching to the contract. So if you teach the contract, you're not a good teacher. Well, the babies. Well, guess what? Name me any other contract employee in the United States who goes home work 10 hours for free.
Contract? Oh,
yeah, because it's contracted. 7.5 hours.
Do your 40.
Most of the contract is 7.5 hours, and you have to do 2 additional hours within the month for professional development or staff training, and then you may have some other stuff built in.
Yeah.
But guess what? When you can't grade your papers, you take them home. They know you take it home. And to these associations and unions, you know better. You know they do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
You know they do it for free. I'm like, why give me $100,000 or whatever the salary is if I still got to do this 10 hours of work for free that you ain't paying me for?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a plan. I'm not going to talk about it now. We can do it for another show. I got 3 proposals that I want to submit to the state that can help hopefully with teacher recruitment and retention. And we can talk about that some other time because it's not going to go in this session, because I'll just say that my elected official didn't get back me in time, so it was too late to submit for this session.
Okay, a little teaser for next time. Maybe. Yeah, we're going to run that. That's how we're going to do here. We're going to read for you these comments. What time is it right now? We're about an hour and 40 in. We're going to start wrapping this up here soon, too, as well. Yeah, we'll start wrapping this up here. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me. I'm going to see 5 at a time, so let me scroll up a little bit. Pascal, we have parents that are survivors of the systems. We never know what is going on at home or with that child. We can oversimplify safety and behavior. Amanda, I know my... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I read that one. Carlos, Let me scroll down a little bit. Like I said, bear with me.
Separate kids that are bad. Can
Yeah.
they explain what they want to have the students do?
Yeah, I'm gonna read. I'll read that one time just for audio. When people separate kids who are bad, bad in quotations, can they explain what they want to have the students do when separated? Like what they separated? Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you want to like? What's the plan for them after that?
Well, I'm assuming he's talking about the student, what they want for that student, or the students. Well, I'm assuming you got, say you got 30 kids and you got that one student.
You got a couple,
outlier,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
You have to get them out the classroom. Are they talking about what are we doing with that student once you get them out?
What do you do with them next? Where you put
Well,
a group of those students together?
First you got to address the behavior.
Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, they're crying, hooping and hollering, whatever. So you got to get them to calm down. But you got to get them out the classroom because, in just my opinion, it's not fair to the other students that are in there that are trying to learn. The problem is that we don't have enough staff that can actually pull the student out. You may have one or two paras or support staff in the school who strictly deal with disciplinary issues in the school, and they're used really as the person that pulls that student out of class into an area. Now, some of these students could have a learning disability or some type of behavioral thing going on in terms, and some of the students could be experiencing something traumatic. But you have to find a room to address the behavior. And I'll be honest with you, it's a challenge. It's a challenge if you don't have those programs in place. I was ED, or emotionally disturbed coordinator, as well as a SPED coordinator, and we had separate department for that. So we had the staff that could pull in, talk with the students, see what's going on, and then hopefully get them back in class. But you can't keep them in class. It's unfortunate, but what do you say to the other students that's sitting there trying to learn and they can't learn? You can't get that You can't get that instruction back.
No.
So we have to find a way to deal with that student's behavior, and sometimes it may be, if they're SPED student, in a more restrictive environment where they may have to go to a school that specializes in addressing their behavior and academic needs, or it may be a different placement within the school, whether it's self-contained or whatever it might be. But there's a lot of different ways to deal with it depending on the student, because every student is different. And I don't know if that necessarily addresses Carlos' question, but you have to deal with the behavior first. You can't say, okay, come on, let's go here so we can read this book, but you haven't addressed the behavior.
Right. Read a few more of these comments. A man has a contractor wants him off.
What?
Off.
What? As a contractor?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, now as a teacher, though.
Yeah, and technically,
Especially that first couple of years, too, as well.
'Cause I had somebody, I'll just say from the association, say, well, they're not contract employees. Then what the hell you got a contract for then? You got a contract, but you tell me they're not contract employees. That makes sense?
Look, contract, right?
Yeah, contract.
Yeah.
I'm saying like sports. Well, I'm not under contract. So what, they just paying you when they feel like it? You just doing what you want to do, or you under contract?
Well, depending on who you talk to, Kyrie, we looking at you, baby. Erica.
Oh, it's my wife.
Yeah.
Oh. Most classroom discussions can be addressed with effective questioning.
And a reintegration plan. Shame with child team for misbehaving has never worked.
Yeah, I think what Carlos was talking about, I'm guessing at the elementary level, where you literally have to get the student out so you can address the behavior. Like, I've had students in middle school or high school that be tripping. I said, hey, can we calm it down, please? Oh, my bad. I said, what's wrong? Do we need to talk? Or as a class, you continue. I said, hey, can you tell me what's going on? I have this genuine conversation. But that's about relationships. You have to be able to establish that relationship with your students. Regardless, I don't go in there prejudging students. Well, last year they were off the hook. I said, well, maybe with you, but not with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go in all of us. Now, it's good to know that, but at the same time, I'm not going to say, oh, shoot, here they come. No. Establish that relationship. So to some degree, what my wife said is correct, but it all depends on the grade level, and it depends on the environment, and also that teacher, because a lot of these teachers are first-year teachers. There's no master class you can take in classroom management. It just isn't.
Oh, it's just something you just learn it, you just got it, or
it just isn't. And you have to learn it quickly, especially in some of these schools. The students are going to know in the first 30 seconds whether or not they got you or not. So you come in, okay, class, and that's a got one. That's a got one, and you say, hey, class, how you doing? My name is so and so, and I was in the military, or I used to play this sport. I'm saying some things that maybe they can relate to. Oh, okay. Whether it's male or female, doesn't really matter. But you have to be able to relate to that student, especially on the first day, that first 30 seconds. Because after that, you got to rebuild it.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you get in there and start crying, believe me, you are tagged for a couple months.
Nah, that's not.
And
yeah,
it shouldn't happen, but I've seen it. I've seen teachers quit 2 minutes in the class, walking, oh, I didn't sign up for this shiggity. Rolled out. Rolled out.
I gotta ask you about that one. That sounds like a wild story. I'm gonna read a few of these comments, so we're gonna call it from there. Carl said there's a bill to allow teachers teachers union to negotiate class size. I guess that would be based off of number of teachers too as well.
Yeah, and I just don't see how you're gonna be able to do that, because what happens if all of a sudden you're 2 over? Well, you can't be in here, but that's the only class that's offering it.
Yes.
So you have to open up a new class
With another teacher.
Yeah. May not be certified in that class, or could be a counselor.
Like we said earlier. Amanda, the teachers care about these kids, so if they stop doing after hours work, these kids suffer. But the school would get the message. Yes, I just feel for the teachers, man.
They're still doing it for free.
I'm
saying the teachers are suffering.
It's just a tough job,
now,
dude.
You have teachers who come in. That, I don't know what the situation is, but some may not have any kids. Some may have kids. And when I was a teacher, it's like, look, I have kids. Well, before I had kids, it was cool. Now, once I got kids, I'm going to spend time with my kids.
Right.
And my wife would tell you, I said, you know what? I'm teaching a contract. I ain't doing shiggity. And literally, I was like, I'm tired. And I got to the point to where I just left. I was tired. Because I had the 3 hot commodities. Black male, special ed, proficient in math up to algebra 2. Those are high demand. High demand.
Mm-hmm.
And when I left, when I left, it's almost like they didn't care. Because I was in Charles County twice. So the 2 reasons why I left was because of Charles County. Now, I'm hoping it's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say I'm the reason, but I can say I'm part of the reason why now they do exit interviews. Because when I left in 2010, I'm like, do y'all even care why I'm leaving? I didn't do an exit interview, nothing. They didn't do any. I was told by the previous superintendent that the reason why teachers leave is because of pay. I said, based on what data? There was no data, no exit, so how do you know that's because of pay?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't leave because of pay. I left for peace of mind. I left because of institutional racism. I left because I got tired of being micromanaged. And then I had one person, I'm not going to say her name, who told me, was trying to tell me how to relate to black boys. And I'm looking at her like, okay, Caucasian lady, you got these degrees, but what makes you think you know more about black males than me, and I'm a black male? I'm kind of, and I need to do this and do that. I was like, no, that's not going to work with them.
Uh-huh.
And I had an issue with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't tell a woman, look, this is what you need to do during your cycle. I don't know what their cycle feels like because it's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I to tell a woman what she needs to do, and I can't even relate to it? And that's how I kind of took it. It was like insulted my intelligence, but also insulted me as a black man. I felt disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's the key reason why, particularly males, leave the system, because they're disrespected. And if I'm going to be disrespected, I might as well get paid for it and have a peace of mind. Or don't get paid as much and still have a peace of mind. But that may be for most teachers, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. If I went to a school system and I'm getting the same exact thing, I'm getting $150,000, then you're doing it for the money. You're doing it for the money. You ain't doing it because you love teaching. No, they're going to pay me $150,000. So I'm going to go ahead and go and still take the same amount, if not worse disrespect than I did at the other school system. Where's your peace of mind?
Can't put a price on it. That's what they say, right?
Nah.
You talk about this in your book too, as well. You said it was pretty much based. It was a lot of it was based on that. So
Yeah, I do talk about that.
good. I'm gonna read that.
Yep.
I'm gonna get on that. We're gonna talk more about that too, as well, because I got a lot of questions. I got a whole lot of questions too, as well. Pascal, wish a man would. It sounds crazy, right?
What it say? I wish a man would.
Even what I was talking to, I've talked to Jenny about this all the time. I'm like, obviously, no, I had a podcast it was probably about 2 years ago at this point. It was with the OBGYN, and it was actually Jenny. She did a podcast with me. This lady in Michigan, and then we were just talking about, and I asked her, so I got a daughter on the way, so I asked her like, how does all that work? She said, look, Rick, I'm gonna tell you right now, just get the hell out the way.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, you ain't gonna tell me anymore. That's
I don't
that.
think I ever went to any of my daughter's doctor's appointments for that. I was like, I remember my wife, she told me a couple days ago, I forgot what it's called, the machine, like when they get the breast exams.
Yeah, okay,
Smash
yeah.
down. Imagine that smashing down on you. I was like, you know what? Yeah. That's why I don't dictate to them what they do with their bodies.
No.
That's your body.
Yeah.
I'm there to support.
I got nothing to do with that. I'm here if you need me.
Yep.
You giving birth, just grab my hand. You know what I mean? I can't really do much here. We need more black male teachers. We'd love to see it. Absolutely.
Yeah, we love to see it, but
Yeah,
I
love to see it.
I don't see an increase in it only because a lot of the schools are dropping their program, and the other part is that you don't have a lot of black males that are want to be educators.
That one, yeah.
Yep.
I know a few out here. They do excellent teachers. So I'm all for it. I'm just for it. Just good people in the school system. But
but this is the thing. I always tell people,
with it.
you don't have to,
Especially in the community too, as well as our demographic makeup.
Yeah, but what I always tell people is that you don't have to have the title or be employed as a teacher to educate. You're an educator. You're an educator. You may not think you are, but you're an educator because you're educating not only the viewers, but you educate kids. You coach soccer, right?
Hey, shout out to my boys.
But you educate.
Got number love
right?
for them. Absolutely.
Myself, I still educate. I educate parents. Like my business, Edvocare. It's a special ed advocacy organization. I attend IEP meetings. I let them know things that they should know about the IEP process because you would think the school system would tell them, but they may or may not know. Briefly with Light the Way Foundation, that I'm treasurer. We have a summer film camp. Oh, by the way, I'm going to promotional plug.
Hey,
April 28th at the Mixed Barn Grill, we have recording artist Christopher Williams and Chris the Mayor Thomas, comedian, hosted by Asia of Magic 102.3 FM.
Okay.
So if you haven't got your tickets, go to lightthewayfoundation.org. It supports the summer film camp. I know some of you may have seen the trailer. Not the trailer, but the movie, Dreamcatchers. But it's all for a good cause. And it comes down to, what are you doing? And it's open to Charles County residents as well as Prince George's, D.C., and some of the southern area as well. So
send me the link. I'll post it.
yeah, I'll send you the link.
Yeah,
but
send the link.
but it's free. It costs an average of $500 for a child to attend the summer film camp for a week at Howard University. And since 2016, we provided $55,000 in scholarships.
You provided this money.
No, not me, but I'm saying the supporters.
I know.
But the organization.
Derrick Terry check.
Yeah, but I have
Money stacks long. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's how we give back through education. No. We can get one.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, that one can talk to somebody else.
No, that's and obviously it's a positive thing in the community too as well. Like wherever it is, people come together, but it doesn't matter. Whether it's movies, art,
something.
Exactly.
Just
You know what I mean?
something.
Sports. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as positive and where you're enacting change in someone's life. So.
And that's the thing about it. You may not see
book clubs, all that.
You may not see it.
Huh.
Hopefully you do. But as a coach, you are making a positive impact with those students.
I try to.
You might not even see it right now, but believe me, I remember every coach I had as a kid. I remember their name, but I remember everything as a kid.
Likewise.
Life lessons and things like that. So, You're giving back. So you
More
give
than the
back in
game.
a variety of different
Yeah.
ways.
100%. Yeah. Try to.
Yeah.
Be in practice tomorrow.
Yeah, probably a nice
yeah,
day
shout,
tomorrow.
shout out to it. I love it. I love just being out there and just, trying to do the best I can to influence lives. So, what's next for Derrick Terry after this? Got more college tours? You going to ice skating rink tomorrow, something like that, or what you got planned, man?
I don't even know, man. I'm just tired. I can't even. I'm
Gonna call Uber for you.
Yeah, I want to eat. My wife made some dinner.
You
great
did say
dinner.
that.
Yeah, and so I'm hungry. I'm hoping she fixed that plate.
Erica,
And just keep it in the microwave, and I get it when I get home. Thank you, baby.
I got some food on some chicken wings. You know what I mean? We're gonna dive in that as soon as I get back. Nah, but dude, I appreciate you always.
Nah, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this. Excuse me. I apologize for sniffling too as well. I got it's pollen season, and I think this came out of nowhere.
I took a Benadryl.
Yeah, nah. You took a Benadryl?
I took it probably an hour, 2 hours before I got here.
Don't it make you sleepy?
Something like. That's why I got the coffee.
I was like, how did that happen? You did the podcast too as well? Like you.
Yeah, that's why I had the coffee. I was, woo.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, that thing started to hit me too as well. Baby, I see it. Look at Jitty Cobb right there about the OBGYN. You remember that podcast? You remember that? All right, but no, that's this probably is unreal. I'm telling you right now, it wasn't bad for me until probably about this afternoon.
Yeah, that's when it hit me.
Yeah, what time is it right now?
What time is it? 10?
Oh, it's 10.
9:56.
I might stop at Walmart on the way back. I need to get some. I think it's the only spot that's open right now too as well. I need to get some
Yeah,
medication.
Walmart closed at 11.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I need to get something. I ain't gonna survive through the night at this rate. So, but no, appreciate you as always. Thank you very much, and we'll do some more work here in the future too as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Don't forget, lightthewayfoundation.org. I think I'm supposed to send something to you.
Yes, do that. And where to find your book at too as well?
Where I send it to? Just text it to you?
Just text it to me. I got it from there.
Okay, got it.
And where can we find your books at?
Just go to my website, advocare.org. Everything, listener. If you want to get it, Amazon, you can. But, excuse me, the thing with Amazon, if it's mailed to you, I can't sign it. If you go through my direct link to the form, I sign it and I mail it to you.
Okay. We find you at a bookstore doing a local signing too as well.
When I get time.
I get you.
You know,
man.
I stay busy, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. I get it.
If I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
do
tell
something,
me.
I gotta do it 100%.
Nah, hey, come on now. Is there any other way?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, when will we be back on? I'm not exactly sure. But obviously we had our setback with everything with the studio. I think our last podcast was a couple weeks ago. Obviously, we were supposed to do one last week, but we had to switch that. So just stay tuned to our social media, Facebook, a little bit of Twitter too as well. Hopefully this summer we'll beef up IG. There's a couple things I got to run past you too as well, as far as video editing that you would I think you would really help you out too as well. So
Oh, no doubt.
yeah, we'll have some conversation on the side, but yeah, we'll go from there. Shout out to Dev, AJ, they'll be back on too as well. We get back up and running, so it's all a process. So, but thank you once again for everything, Charles County. Y'all been great as far as your support. So I couldn't be happier. We couldn't be happier. So once again, appreciate you all.
Appreciate y'all. Peace and blessings.
Absolutely.